back to back, y'all. That I started off, without my mic hooked up. But either way, I was saying welcome back, y'all. Happy Monday. Got some updates on the transfer portal. It's been a whole lot of movement, and we definitely have to talk about it, man. We have a ton of information that we're going to be going through. But as y'all are coming in here, y'all please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us grow. Shouts out to all of our members on YouTube and on Patreon. Appreciate y'all so much. We've been rolling out film breakdowns. We got more coming out today. I don't know if we'll be able to get through all of them today, but by Tuesday, I think that we should be fully caught up, man. We just been adding so many players. It's been hard for me to just like keep that stuff rolling. But either way, let me tap into the chat. We're going to be getting to the super chats and to the members first. So starting off, man, appreciate this. We have a new member on YouTube. This one is from Aiken Beard Barber. Appreciate you, bro, and I'm going to play this clip for you. Thank you so much for that, Aiken. And this next one right here from Donkey Nuts. Hey, man, listen, love, bro. Appreciate you for joining us as always. Let me see what else we got in here. This one is from Drew Dockery saying that he thinks Heupel needs to go. He's missed 4 good quarterbacks, and he sealed his fate. He's gone next year. All right. Adam Fowler saying that Levitt going to LSU. It was confirmed. Yes, it has been confirmed. He's going to LSU. There's people that are, people are worried about it. I've told y'all, I was never high on Sam Levitt. And that's really, we're going to be talking a lot about missing pieces. Sam Levitt is a guy that if he's asking for like $4+ million, you spend that on a missing piece. Was Sam Levitt going to come into the roster as is and turn us into a championship program? Hell no. Okay. Lane Kiffin, he was able to get him. It does sting the way that happened. And we even talked about it on that day whenever Kiffin goes up to Knoxville. He's on campus and taking pictures and trolling and everything else. And, people were laughing about it and whatever. But I was like, dude, that's the sort of coach that you want. That's willing to do whatever it takes to go and get their guy. Sam Levitt might be the guy for LSU, but he's not the guy for Tennessee. And I think they're doing a great job inside the portal. They went and got Jordan Ross. They got William Satterwhite. Those are 2 really good players. They went and got the safety that I wanted, Ty Benefield from Boise State. They're bringing in an influx of really good players. But I don't think that in Tennessee's situation that we needed to spend that much on Sam Levitt unless, like I said, man, we had everything else taken care of. And then we had $5 million on top of it to add the missing piece. You know what I mean? And if we felt like he was. So let me go ahead and jump into the show, y'all. And we'll get right back to the chat. Again, appreciate y'all for joining us. And thank y'all for chiming in. So we're going to switch things up, y'all. We were starting off with Scott Cochran every day. But it feels like Tennessee's really targeting Derek Owings. So he's the strength coach for Indiana. They're going to be playing in the national championship. Very quick turnaround for those guys, obviously. So anybody from their staff, period, you want to be able to get them. But I think like especially a strength coach, because the strength coach might have the biggest imprint on your team. But y'all can see his resume and all that type of stuff. But obviously, I would still love to get Scott Cochran or some of those other guys that we've talked about. But we have to get a really good strength coach. That's a huge part of this deal, man. Like, you bring in all these players. Some of these guys are young that will probably still have to play for us, kind of similar to what last season was. But if you have a good strength coach that can get these guys ready sooner rather than later, then obviously that puts you in a great situation. All right, so now these are all the guys that we currently have from the portal. It's a total of 9 guys up here. I think that we do have a 10th. The 10th guy, he's like a long snapper, special team sort of a guy. But it's good-looking players. Want to make sure that I point this out because P and I, we've talked a lot about Quay Moss. We talk about all these guys. But we go back and forth. I've said that I think he's listed at 5'10". I think that he's shorter than that. P's saying, well, he might be a little bit taller than that, or, he might be at least 5'10". All right. So maybe he is. And the only reason that even matters is just because, listen, we all know that size does matter, right? Football, you want to be the biggest, fastest, strongest team that you can possibly be. And you can't change your height, but I do think that he's an excellent player. He has a great skill set, but I think that because of his size, he's more of a nickel and less of a star. Tennessee still needs to find a star, right? As y'all are just kind of like looking through, picked up a big-time safety, Lane from Penn State. I think that in watching this film, which his film breakdown is going to be next for all the members on YouTube and our Patreon, I think that he definitely is physically capable. I love his size. I love his speed. I love his willingness to get in on plays. I love all of that. He's just kind of like, I don't want to say green, but he hasn't played a whole lot of football, right? So he is going to have to learn. Like, I just felt like coming into this thing, y'all, Tennessee would have gone out and got the best safety that's a veteran, number one, first and foremost, and then somebody like Lane comes in as the second option. As you, hey, listen, this guy's young, but he's got great talent, and he can help us out immediately. But he would be more of like the second option. All right, so that's how everything looks from that standpoint. Now, I had to talk about Ty Simpson, right? So, like, as we're talking about quarterbacks and all of that type of stuff, of course, we're waiting to see what happens with Joey Aguilar's situation today. And I'm going to tell y'all, like I've said previously, I've been hearing for about a month now from several different sources that Joey doesn't even want to come back. It doesn't mean that that's going to hold true forever, right? Of course, for some reason, his name is on that lawsuit. So somebody in his team or whatever, there's something that I guess leaves the door cracked open that he could potentially come back. But it is still a possibility that he's granted that extra year and he doesn't even want to come back. So for everyone that's thinking that, man, Joey Aguilar is going to come at this big time discount, I don't think that that's true. I think that he'll probably go for about what Sam Levin's asking for and all these other big time quarterbacks, because there's still teams out there that will need quarterbacks that might want to spend that money on Joey Aguilar. So you still have to, I guess, have the money set to the side if that's the route that you want to go. And I'm saying that, hey, it might cost us more, because I think that Tennessee would be in a situation where we would probably have to talk Joey into coming back. I don't think that's a slam dunk guarantee. But with all that being said, this is the only guy that I've looked at inside of the transfer portal as a quarterback that I said, man, look, you can break the bank on him. Actually, I think the number that we threw out was $7 million. I said, hey, I'd be fine with it. If Tennessee has it, then spend it. Because, see, like, he's actually worth it. He's the missing piece. Even with how our roster is currently built, Ty Simpson comes in and immediately turns this into a national championship contending team. That's how good he is. Brendan Sorsby wasn't that. Brendan Sorsby needed help. Sam Levitt damn sure was going to need some help. This is a totally different level. And what I have up here, y'all, to y'all's bottom right, you're going to see that as far as what I've found, people are saying that, like, his highest draft grade is at number 15 overall. Anywhere from 15 to, like, later into the first round, maybe even later than that. Sounds like now the most recent thing is having him going at number 30-something to the LA Rams, which would be a great situation. But, if he does go at number 15, he would get paid a salary of about $5.85 million. So that's where I came up with the number of $7 million from previously. Now, it's rumored, and actually I think that some pretty, like, reputable sources, I think that Austin Price even came out and said that this is true, that Miami's offered him $6.5 million, plus some other, like, fringe benefit types of things. All right. So would that entice him to maybe put his name back inside of the hat for the transfer portal and back away from the draft? I think that he has until Wednesday to maybe get that done. It doesn't sound like that's going to happen. But what if Tennessee was to offer him that much money? Would it change things? Because y'all can see he's from Tennessee. Everyone knows that he's from Tennessee. Grew up a huge Tennessee fan. Tennessee just offered his younger brother. Everyone's always talking about him. I did have a chance to actually watch him. I think that he's pretty solid. I wasn't, like, blown away or anything. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think he was, But either way, the whole point is if Tennessee could offer him something like this, and it might not have to be $6.5 million. I think that you could maybe get him back for maybe match what the NFL offer would, or not offer, but like what the NFL salary would be for him as a rookie, right? Through his first 4 years in the league off of the first contract. You could probably offer that, because in the NFL, you're going to get taxed like crazy. If he lives in California, we know that their state taxes are huge, but you also get taxed in every state that you play in. So that $5.8 million inside of the NFL, I don't know what it's going to come down to, but I'd say you could almost cut that in half. Pretty close to it. We'll say about $3.7 million or something like that after taxes. But in Tennessee with no state taxes, or Miami, which is in Florida, no state taxes, that money goes a lot further. But there's more to it, obviously. Next year's draft for quarterbacks is supposed to be way deeper. People are worried about Arch Manning. Arch Manning is probably number one overall next season, period. I know that there's some other quarterbacks. I'm not going to throw out too many names, but there's some quarterbacks that some people here might not like who are also going to be very highly touted. Is more competition. This year's draft is really not that many good quarterbacks out there. So maybe he says, hey, man, I'm just going to take my chances right now and go on. Sounds like that is what's going to happen. But I did want to point this out just so that people understand. This is what you break the bank for. This is a missing piece at quarterback. And we can sacrifice some other things that we're still waiting on and all of that. But with that being said, let me actually tap into the chat because I see there's a lot of things coming in. All right, let me see what people are talking about. Where are we at? All right, so this one from my dog Tay. What's going on, bro? Happy to have you joining us today. From good old Rocky Top, saying let's not throw Hyper out with the bathwater yet. Let's see if Joey can come back. Okay, yeah. So we just talked about that, and we'll see what happens. I just think it's such a long shot. Something was supposed to happen, like the judge is having a meeting, which is I'm not a lawyer or any of that, but that just sounds kind of like weird to me. I don't know how they feel like we're gonna get an answer today, because it's not like an actual court hearing. But either way, that was supposed to happen earlier today. We actually had heard, what was it, like last Friday, that something might come out. It keeps on getting pushed back. There's just no telling. Like, you're working at the court system's mercy. That stuff can be all over the place. Even if the judge comes out and says, hey, we're going to grant that extra year, like I said, you still got to get over the hurdle of getting Joey Aguilar to actually come back. So we'll talk more about the quarterback situation, y'all. All right, this one's saying that Levitt is injury prone, so I'm not going to cry about it. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of, to me, red flags. If you just watch him play, even without all the other things, it's like, I mean, I don't know. He's not worth that much money. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not the end all be all. He's not the answer. You still got to add a whole lot of stuff. What's going on, John? Appreciate you for joining us, dog. All right, this one from Vol Outlaw, saying that not worried about Levitt. Hyper will grab someone and make it work. There are other questions about him that he needs to answer, but making a quarterback work isn't really one of them. And I'm right there with you. All right, so Tay is saying, good news, not getting Sam Levitt frees up extra money to go and get some different guys, and it would be perfect if Joey A is able to come back. Yeah, and that's the other part of it too, is like, and that's kind of what I was getting at, is if you're going to go all in for a quarterback from a finances standpoint, this is the guy that you go all in for. There's nobody else that's worth it. I would like to have Joey Aguilar back, but I'll be honest with y'all. You know, I love him, but let's just talk turkey, y'all. Like, let's get down to the real business of this. It's about winning. And if we didn't have the finances to get Sam Levitt, which I don't know if that's fully the case. I just think that the staff felt like he wasn't worth it. But I wouldn't even break the bank for Joey. I would just ride with G-Mac and all them dudes, bring in you a backup or whatever at a huge discount, and then get the rest of the team ready. That's what I would be more focusing on. I'd be focusing on two things. And we get Ty Simpson, first and foremost, and then number two, if we can't, how can we best utilize the funds that we have to build up a juggernaut roster so that the quarterback is not asked to do too much? I think that's where we're at. All right, so more. MG Way, what's going on, bro? Saying that it won't take much convincing to get Joey to want to come back. You would think that, bro, but from what I've heard, I mean, everyone is different, but all I can go by is what I've heard. He doesn't want to come back. Like, maybe there's no amount of money. He might not be worried about the money. I don't know what it's going to take. But I do know that at this point, and if y'all even listen, like, watch some of these insiders and stuff. So Austin Price, he was on a show last night with Swain and with some other dude. Sorry that I can't think of the name of it. But, even Austin Price, he's saying, well, Tennessee's trying to, waiting on this ruling. But you got to listen to exactly what he says all the way through. At the end, he says, if Joey wants to come back. This is not something that I'm making up. It's something that everyone knows. I think that Tennessee knows it. I think that we've been preparing like he won't be back. But I do want to point that out, that it's not. I think that as fans, we feel like, hey, why wouldn't he want to come back? I don't know. Yeah, I can't say what's inside of somebody else's mind, but it's also the option of him going to the portal. Like, if he is going to come back and play football in college for one more year, does he even want to come back to Tennessee? We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just keeping it real. Okay, so now let's go through. Let's start breaking down some of these rooms with the players that we've added from the portal. So this is the safety room. We kind of talked about it. Y'all can see, like, all the averages down at the bottom. I mean, like I said, I'm disappointed. I am. I don't think that we're doing the best job with our safeties. I thought that this would have been priority number one for us. It feels like maybe we're still kind of taking discounts. This is not a shot at Lane. Lane is a good football player. But there were other guys out there that I believe are better than what we're still targeting. And we'll talk about that once we get to that point. But yeah, I am disappointed. What they need to also be doing, if guys like Ty Simpson says, hey, I'm really not coming back, guys, and if you've done everything that you could possibly do to try to bring him in and try to make that work, if it's a total no, then you need to start freaking tampering with some people, man. Like, you've got to go find some better safeties, okay? Like, this is just It can be okay, but safety is such a huge part of this defense. It's a huge deal. Okay? Start tampering a lot harder. And I don't care who knows. I do not care. Like, suffer the consequences because they're going to be very minor. If you got to sit out a daggone ball game as the head coach, you better fall on that sword, dog. Like, you're going to have to turn this up. So that's where I'm at, as far as the safety room. Now, these are the defensive tackles. And actually, Zach Groves, I might add to this room, so I'm not going to have him up here. But I'm thinking I might add him to this room. I'm waiting to see what's his current weight and all of that. But he might be a defensive tackle. Plenty of bodies here. Love these guys. I think they're very, very talented, just very young. All these rooms are still very stinking young, okay? But they are talented, all right? So now, these are the defensive ends. So this room is super young, like super duper young. Talented, but I think probably way too young. And I think that this might be a little bit of a problem, in all honesty. All right, so corners. Added the freshmen to this list. There's some other guys that we can maybe throw inside of this room that I right now have at star. But so, could have more depth. Got to go add some more players here. Maybe two, right? Maybe two. And then linebackers, this one looks really good. This one looks really, really good. This is our room. This is how it should look. Studs here, everywhere. All right. And then we got, of course, the offensive tackle room. Looks a little bit light, but I think that we should be fine because we got some players like Jesse Perry, like Sham, that could also play a tackle. All right, so moving forward. This is my big board, y'all. This is my top 16. It's in order. It is in order. I left Sam Levitt up here because I made it, earlier and everything, but I wanted for y'all to see where he would have been at on my big board. It's not a huge deal to me at all. All right, and yes, I do have Ty Simpson up here because I'm not going to fully lose hope. I know it's a super long shot, but I have to just keep on, bringing him up because he would make such a huge difference. But outside of that, I actually have Conrad Hussey. I think I'm saying his last name right, safety from Oregon State. I have him over TJ Metcalf. And I'm looking at it more so based off of knees and skill set and all of that. I think that I liked Hussey better than I liked the kid from Michigan, in all honesty. But it sounds like the staff might have moved on from Hussey. So, again, I just left him up here. Metcalf is a guy that I know he had Big Ten honors and all of that. But, whenever you really watch him play, it's not that he's horrible. I think that he's a good athlete and all of that. I just don't know. Maybe he could play a star for you. There were just way better options out there, y'all. Way better. I think that the kid from Kansas was a much better option, honestly, as far as coverage goes and all of that. And I've spent a pretty good amount of time watching him. I watched probably watched this film for an hour straight last night, and I'm gonna go back through and try to watch it again because maybe it's something that I'm missing. I don't know, but I'm not super high on him, y'all. That's just me. All right, it's fine if people feel different. It's all about what the staff sees. If they like him, then okay, things will end up working out. But I just thought that we would have done a better job of bringing in the elite, the Todd Benefields of the world and all that. But next, I like this defensive tackle from A&M. I like him the most. He's 6'5", 310. Bigger guy, claws up gaps, eats up space, shows some twitch. He's got a whole lot of dog to him. I think he might be from Georgia. Don't quite quote me on that. But either way, yeah, love him. I would love if we could add him. I'm not sure. It sounds like we are in a good spot for him. It sounds like we're in a good spot for TJ Metcalf also. And then next guy, Damon Wilson. So I still have him up here. Again, he actually might be the first call that I make. If Todd Simpson, outside of Todd Simpson, if after we get off the phone with Todd Simpson and if he says I'm just not going to come back, okay, well, we're calling Damon Wilson right now in this dead period. I don't care. Really don't. Because what's the penalty for us breaking rules? I haven't seen big ones that are of any consequence, really. So forget about breaking the rules. Do what you got to do. Damon Wilson has to be, you got to get a really, really, really good defensive end that's also a veteran. Damon Wilson is an absolute slam dunk, no free. I mean, he's a no-brainer, okay? Go and get him. I know that we are targeting him. Why hasn't a visit been set up yet? We're slacking on that, dog. You got to go get him. That would be huge. And then also, if you can, right, add the other defensive end that we'll talk about on that other side. Okay, so next, Aaron Scott, cornerback from the Buckeyes. Man, I watched this film for the first time yesterday. He's a stud. I would actually have him higher up on this list in all honesty, but he does play a corner. I think that he could play a star. He could maybe even play at safety because he's very physical. But see, like he's got the twitch. He's got the movement skills that you're looking for. He's got the size, everything. He's a stud. He's supposed to be coming up, I think, on Thursday as soon as the dead period ends or whatever. But yeah, got to close out on him for sure. And then we have Francis Brew. It sounds like that one might not be trending towards Tennessee, but I like him. He's a smaller defensive tackle. I want guys that are big. We've already got plenty of guys that are smaller that could be more pass rushers, all of that. But yeah, he's a solid guy. Get you a really good strength coach, put 15 to 20 pounds of solid muscle on him, and turn him into a daggum stud. Turn him into a daggum juggernaut. And then I would say Gentry Williams, just because of his versatility, very injury prone. But I think that, like, again, from a versatility standpoint, if you could add him with an Aaron Scott, I feel a lot better about the secondary. Or you just get Aaron Scott. But Aaron Scott, I'm starting to feel like he's a total must-have. He's really good. And then James Smith, defensive tackle from Alabama. Him and Quay or Kua Rusaw, I think that's a package deal. I like both of them. James Smith, he's had some good games. He's had some good film, but he also just like disappeared. So like versus Georgia, if y'all go watch the film of him versus Georgia, I mean, he was getting bullied. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't really feeling that, dog. Why are you getting bullied? Like, why are you getting pushed around? Like, really, like, getting tossed and stuff. But either way, it sounds like we're in a good spot for both of those guys. I think that his teammate right there, the edge rusher, I think he has a whole lot of twitch. We talked about Jeremiah Thielander playing at Leo if we go to more of like the 3-3-5 version of this Gymnos system. I mean, Rusaw would be that on steroids, right? Because he's very twitchy. He could actually play stand-up linebacker. Like, that's the sort of twitch that he has. So, yeah, he could be a great gadget piece. You add him with the Damon Wilson, you start feeling really good. Or if you add him to a kid like Jordan Norman, who I also think he's a good defensive end. He's more of like a strong side defensive end where, he can rush the passer, but it's not on the level of a Damon Wilson. It's not on the level of a Chaz Coleman, who is a freaking stud. Didn't even talk about. The more that I'm watching film on him, golly, geez, he's going to be a problem. Okay, so yeah, Tennessee's in a good spot for, again, most of these guys, right? Like if they just visited over the weekend, we're in a great spot for them. And then Walter Mathis, that's the defensive tackle from LSU. Really like him too. Really like him. Just like a little bit smaller. So yeah, got to be able to gain the weight. Sam Levitt, we've already talked about that. And then we've got some running backs. I was higher on the kid from Florida than the kid from Florida State. I want the bigger backs. Sounds like Tennessee is probably going to take the bigger guy here, Jackson from Florida. So I'm not too concerned about running back, though. That's a dime a dozen, man. Like, you could find a running back super late in this process. You could, like, the week of the week before you need to find somebody, you can go and do that, which actually I think the class will start on the 19th of this month. So that's pretty much where we're at. And then last guy, Bo Pibula, quarterback. So I've also watched him. And like I said before, if you're bringing him in at a big time discount, I'd say if you want to splurge $1.2 million, wouldn't go over that. Bring him in as a guy that say, hey, you can fight for some time. If you look better than George and or Faison, whatever, then you can earn the starting spot. But he's really, in my mind, a like prototypical backup. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he needs to be coming off of the bench. Maybe get you out of a ball game or two. He's not a guy that you want starting. Really isn't. He's a fast guy. He can run around and stuff. You got to be able to freaking throw, dog. Like, it's cool. It's cute if you can run. This is not middle school football where you can just get away with doing it all the time. Teams are going to take that away. Can you throw it accurately, consistently? He's got a pretty big arm. I think that he could do it sometimes, but it's about the consistency with it. 11 touchdowns, 9 picks. That's part of the reason that I'm not super high on Joey. I think that some of the issues that they have are a little bit different. But why walk back into the same sorts of situations when you could just say, you know what, if you're not willing to come at the price that works for us at the University of Tennessee, then we'll just go get whoever, like whatever sort of a backup from wherever. It doesn't matter. Get a guy that's willing to come in here at about $500,000, right? And say, hey, we just need you here to kind of, cheer these young guys on and all of that. And we're going to ride with those players, and we're going to build up everything else, and we're going to see if we can make it work. That's the way that I would do it. That's where I'm at mentally with all of this stuff. So hopefully all those things make sense. Now, I'm a back away from that, and then we're gonna tap back into the chat. I see that there's a lot of things coming in. All right, so MG Way saying that Ty Simpson turned down the $6.5 million from Miami. There's no way. Well, yeah, I mean, maybe not. I wouldn't say that there's no way. And the difference that I was talking about earlier with Ty Simpson with any other program is that he wants to play at Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he was going to come back, it pretty much was a slam dunk that it would be at Tennessee. So I think that he might entertain it more. It's maybe not just about the money, but yeah, I mean, maybe that's off the board. And if it is off the board, then like I said, I mean, there's no other good options. Really, like there's no. You got to build up everything else because quarterback is what it is. You know, it just pretty much is what it is. So you have to now, I think, try to save money at the quarterback spot and just see, hey, can we take that extra money and offer a guy like Damon Wilson? Hey, are you getting offered like whatever? If you call him, he says, hey, my highest offer is $2 million. Okay, well we'll match that too, and we'll give you a $350,000 signing bonus or something like that, right? I'm just throwing out numbers, but that's what it's going to take for us to get to where we want to get to. All right. So this one is saying that Nico can tell you all about California taxes. Yeah, that's a fact. It ain't no joke. J-Pat's going on, bro. Go Big Orange, FUGA. Yeah, man. For sure. It's all good. Appreciate you for just chiming in with us. So this one's saying that so far so good with the shoulder. Okay, good, man. I'm definitely happy to hear that. Didn't want to bring it up live, but yeah, that's awesome. You know, you've definitely been in our thoughts and prayers. Happy to hear that. All right. Thank you so much for this. Donkey Nuts. MG Way saying that we always go cheap on safeties. It's so frustrating. Yeah, and look, I can't say for sure that that's what Tennessee's doing, but that's what it feels like Tennessee's doing. I don't think that we're valuing that position as much as we should. And something else that I've heard from some of the insiders is that Tennessee would even tell you that we're kind of like late to the party as far as, hey, man, the portal opened up and we didn't have any real visits set up, and some of the guys that we might have wanted had visits set up, before we could get them set up. I think that they might have been. I'm hoping that at least they were thinking, well, dang, we didn't. Maybe we're missing out on some of the safeties that we had targeted or something. I don't know, because that's concerning to me. I don't know how we're at this spot where you knew that you needed safeties. Why don't you have that figured out? Like at a better rate. That should have happened immediately. All right, so Tay saying that we got to have the Kiffin energy. I do feel that, man. Like, I think that just as far as being a dog, just as far as doing whatever it takes, I think that we definitely need more of that. It feels like we're starting to turn it on, but I want to see us just pull out all the stops, man. Do literally whatever it takes within reason, right? Like, you don't want to just go crazy with it, but you should be very close to the line where some people might start to question, what are they doing up there? Like, that's how things should feel. All right, so Eric B. Jones, going on, bro? Yes, sir. I did hear that. Okay, so you was hoping that he was coming in. I'm actually thankful that they got him, and I think that as soon as we had heard that LSU was in the mix for him, like last week or whatever, I was like, dude, I hope that they take him. Really do. I hope that Kiffin can pull this off so that it's not even a possibility for us, because I think that would have been a huge mistake if you're spending up money on a guy and when you could have spent it somewhere else. All right, so he has something up his sleeve. Y'all are crazy. All right, so this one's saying that Scott is a must get. I can see him at star, Tyler Redmond, and Kay and Lee on corner, Scott at the star. Yeah, I could see that too. I think all three of those guys are starters. Or you could even mix that around, bro. But that would be a tremendous haul for the cornerback room. Tremendous, because keep in mind that Quay Moss, corner, nickel, dude, that would be a gigantic pickup. But you have to have it up front. Like, you have to, I think, I'm not sure how the pass rush is going to end up looking. All right, so he's on the same page. Eric is on the same page with me, with Chaz Coleman. Yeah, man, those spin moves are serious. He's got a whole lot of twitch, and then he's strong, and he's listed at 240, but y'all, he could gain another 25 pounds easily, and he's still getting getting faster while gaining that weight. Again, get the right strength coach, and yeah, we do got some studs. I question, are we deep enough? Because now, man, it's such a long grind. You got to have a ton of depth to be able to make it through the season. All right, so Pribula commands $3 million. Nah, Gryffindor, I don't think that he's going to command anywhere near that. But like I said, I wouldn't even pay over $1.2 million. I don't think that he's worth it. You're just wasting money you're reaching. Because what is he really going to, like, I don't think that he's going to earn the starting spot over George McIntyre. I don't. So why would you even, like, just go get a discount there and let it just be somebody that's a surefire backup, you know? And, let Faison and George work things out. I mean, that's probably where we're at, in all honesty. So JPass is saying, why not do a base pay? Yeah, I don't know if kids would sign on to those types of contracts because I don't think that they're set up that way. But that would make the most sense to me. If we can get some sort of a CBA, then maybe we could do more things like that. Maybe like the contract structure could be better from that standpoint. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me get to some more people. All right, so Tony is saying that Swain said that Pribula would earn. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, so then that's not a no, that's a hell no. That's a absolutely, positively no way. And if Heupel does that, and if we don't get Damon Wilson, okay, and not just Damon Wilson, but if we don't get Damon Wilson, and then Dalen Evans, okay, got to get both of those guys, and then also Aaron Scott. Who else do we need? James Smith, Rusaw, and also Jordan Norman, and a very competent safety. That's 7 more things that I feel like we could add. If we don't get all 7 of those very specific things, and Heupel spends anything near $2 million, I think that it's time to go ahead and just let his ass go, because that would be really, really, really stupid to do. Really, really, really stupid to do. And I would be irate. I would go through the roof. I'd be on the moon. I'd be on Mars. I'd be in a different galaxy. Let's not do stupid shit, period. So I hope that that's not the case, sincerely. And like I said, if it is, then we better not be making that move. All right, so Tony's saying that we have to get a portal quarterback who can start. I don't think that we do, dog, because like I said, all that we would be doing is reaching. We're just going to be reaching. We're going to be overspending on somebody that is not going to be that good. That's not going to get us over the hump. And like Swain, I guess said earlier, that quarterback ain't worth nowhere near $2 million at all. So if that's the going rate, then it tells you what the market looks like. Just go get in anybody at a discount that is just a body, and let's just move on, bro. Build up everything else, because now we're going to start spinning wheels. You know what I mean? All right, so Eric is saying get Teron Dickens, get him eating 10 pounds of beef and go win. So I still haven't watched him. I think that that's the quarterback from Western Carolina, right? I still haven't watched him. He's a shorter guy. I don't know how he looks throwing the football. It's okay if you're shorter playing a quarterback. You just got to have a strong enough arm. And typically, shorter players, it's not always like this, but a lot of times the shorter players don't have bigger arms. But actually, I can tell y'all the biggest arm that I've ever seen, I guess, from maybe like a teammate, it was a kid on my high school team. He was probably about like 5'10". He played in the secondary. But I'm not playing. I'm being very serious. He could throw a high school football about 90 yards. And I'm like, dog, how are you doing that? So, yeah, I mean, sometimes that can happen, but was that kid a quarterback? No. Was he accurate with it? Sometimes, but either way, yeah, I think that there is a certain, like, if you're going to spend the money, you got to spend it wisely. That's pretty much all that I'm trying to say. So David Speaks saying that we're still operating under NCAA scrutiny, is what Basilio was saying earlier, according to his sources. And I think that that's probably accurate, right? Like, I'm sure that they're probably still watching us, but what can the NCAA do? What can they do? Right? They have no teeth. Like, they can't enforce anything. We could tell them to kick rocks, bro. Like, y'all can kick rocks and eat sand and all of that. What are y'all gonna do? Like, yeah, y'all got these rules. That's cute. If we cross the line, what are the consequences? Y'all haven't shown that there are any real consequences. So until that happens, who cares, right? That's the way that I'd be looking at it. If your job is on the line, I think the people need to start, as far as the people that's on campus, like in the staff and stuff, they better not be worrying about that. Because I damn sure wouldn't be worrying about that. Do what it takes to win. Worry about all that other stuff later on. You know what I mean? All right, so, well, we got some more from our members. So Eric Jones, so he's on the same page about Bo. He's not that good, struggled at Mizzou as their #1 quarterback last season. Yeah, and he did miss some games. But saying that Coach Heupel can make Bo better, I'm not so sure as bad as he struggled. Yeah, I mean, I think that Heupel can make him better. But it's at some point, man, if you're going to overspend on the quarterback, if you're going to overspend on anything, it needs to be worth it to get you to the college football playoffs, to get you to the championship. Joey Aguilar had a great season from a stat standpoint. I think that it didn't turn the football over quite as much. It was still pretty high. But whenever it really counted, some of his turnovers, came in very critical situations in like key moments. You don't want to do that again. And I don't even think I would take Joey over this kid Bo like all day long. And I don't. That's like not even a freaking question, dog. That would be a really stupid move for us. I know that we've got some good quarterback coaches, Halsley, Heupel. Don't take the risk. Just don't even take the risk. Why don't people feel like they could work their magic with a guy like George McIntyre or Faison Brandon? GMAC is not a freshman anymore. I don't care if he's a redshirt freshman. This is his second year in the system. Lifelong football guy now. That makes a huge difference. Okay, so Gryffindor saying, are we really behind on total numbers? We lost 20 plus. Yeah, so I think we lost 25 players to the portal. Bringing in 10 and scholarships went up from 85 to 105. So a lot of room. We need bodies. Yeah, I do. I think we need to go add some more people. I'm right there with you. We definitely have to do that. All right, so JPad is saying that Pribula isn't it. Fix the defense. Get another guy at quarterback in spring competition. GMAC is a damn good quarterback. Fix the defense. I'm right there with you, bro. And then this one from Eric is also saying that, yeah, man, let's take him to court. That's what I do. They're losing pretty much every court case still. That's the way that I would be operating. Okay, so let's get into some of this stuff. Okay, so we've got this guy right here, JT Sparks saying, I talk too much about firing Heupel. I'm not as smart as I think I am. Who do you hire as a coach to stop my foolishness? Okay, well, that's fine if you feel that way. But that's my opinion, right? All that I'm saying is some people are okay with mediocrity. I'm not. I'm definitely not. Some people maybe can't see things that are blatantly obvious, like we got off to a slow start inside of the transfer portal. That's inexcusable. And even the staff is saying that, right? We had very specific needs: safety, defensive tackle. I think we're doing a pretty good job at defensive tackle. Missed out on one of the big time names. I don't think that we're doing the best job at safety. It is inexcusable. We're coming off of what do we go, y'all? 8-5 season, right? I know that there were some issues, kind of like heading into it, right? I think the staff did a pretty good job of making things work, but there are so many. It's a long laundry list of things that I see that are unacceptable. And then I look at guys like Indiana's head coach, and I see him get up there, and within 2 years, they're playing in the national championship. So as a Tennessee fan, the way that I'm set up, y'all, hell yeah, I'm going to start calling for people's jobs. And that's really not even, I'm not saying that that's what I want to have happen, but I'm saying that that's where we're at. You can live in La La Land all that you want to. But the truth of the matter is the people that really pull the strings, all those big boosters and all those big donors, they getting sick of this stuff. So once they get tired of it, whoever's head has to roll is going to roll. If we have a bad season, if we miss on certain metrics, I'm sure the coach Heupel will end up getting fired. So if you don't like that, bro, you don't have to watch this channel. You can go watch something else. You know what I mean? But I will always speak my mind. Nobody's ever going to tell me what to say or how to feel. So make sure that you understand that. All right, so next from David Speaks saying that there's Aaron Nolan. You know what? Aaron Nolan, I haven't seen him play in college. Maybe I saw some clips from him last year or something like that. But yet, no, he would be a pretty good option. I think that I would at least see where he's at. You might be able to go get him for like a discount. That would be a much better option than the kid Bo, in my opinion. All right. Okay. Yeah, man. For sure. Let's see. What else do we have in here? Okay. So this one is from Eric. He's saying he'd love to have Joey Aguilar back over Bo. Yeah, I think 100%. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Okay, so no more from our members. Let's see. All right, so Eric, he's saying that he's not okay with it either, but we need to give the guys our coaches picked the chance to go prove it on the field. It's too early to be talking about firing hype. Okay, so he's on the same page there. Well, listen, like I said, they don't really have the luxury of time, in all honesty. And I'm not the one that's going to make that call, y'all. Like, I don't know if y'all thought that I had power over what the organization does. I don't. But the way that I'm looking at it, certain things are just inexcusable. Bringing a new staff for the defense. Well, I mean, again, you're working on kind of like borrowed time, so to speak. So whoever you brought in, you should have made sure that everything was in place for them to get things done. Now, I'm not out on the staff on defense. I'm not even out on our current staff. What I am saying though is that if Heupel is going to make stupid moves, which that part of it is all speculation anyway, we're talking about a situation that may or may not happen. But if he's going to overspend for that kid Bo, and not hit on all the other major like glaring holes that we're going to have on this team, I would have a huge problem with that because it would be stupid. Because you're going to overspend for Bo, who's not probably going to be very good. He's not. He might be okay. He might be really good. But if it's taken away from the other things that you need anyway, what difference does it really make? Like you've got to be able to go win versus what looks like, our schedule for some of these teams, looking at what they've done inside of the portal. I mean, these teams are looking good. LSU's looking good. So that's all that I'm saying. All right. So this one right here from my dog, T and Jr. And he's saying that Bo would be needing to pay us to suit up. Yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at. I just don't think that he's great. I don't think that he's worth anywhere near $2 million. 2 to 3? Dog, I would try not to laugh. And I'm not trying to talk bad about I don't want to talk bad about him. I'm sure he's a really good kid. But come on, dog. Like, yes, maybe that's what the market is, but Tennessee can't do that. Like, if we've been being smart with all these other players, like we've talked about, and we're like, okay, well, we don't value this player at that rate. If that was a situation with a guy like Jordan Ross, who his talent level is just as high as anybody that's on this board, okay? Maybe didn't have the best numbers, but he also didn't play that much last season, right? But if you're willing to let him walk because his price tag was too high, but you had $5 million for Sam Levitt, I would anticipate that you felt like you were going to be able to get somebody of at least equal talent to help fill out that defensive end room. That is pretty thin at this point. So, yeah, it's just about the way that we're spending money and the moves that we're making. That's where I'm at. Like, I just think that we've got to be smart with how we're with how we're moving. All right, so let's see. What else do we got in here? What else do we have? I'm going to try to get to somebody different. All right, so this one from Yorkie Kane saying, let's get Hassan Longstreet at quarterback and Justice Haynes at running back. So I don't know who Hassan, I hope I'm saying it right, Longstreet is. But, yeah, I would love to go get Justice Hayes because now that we're talking about, maybe the quarterback situation, maybe you don't feel as confident with it, which I have a lot of faith in George McIntyre personally. But I know that there's a lot of people who don't because you haven't really seen him play, and I totally get that. But, yeah, I would like to go and get like a game changer at running back. I would also like to add an extra guard. Like add another offensive lineman, whether they play center or guard. If they could do both, then that's even better. But I would just try to build up the fronts as much as possible, front seven all day long. And definitely add some more depth to the defensive end room. And I think that we do need more bodies there. Okay. So Bennett Burris is saying, why do I think Jordan Ross never got that many snaps? I was confused about that this season. So I think that it just had to do with older players, in all honesty. I think that was the main reason for it. And this was going to be his season. Was it a guarantee that he was going to start, be the first guy that comes in if Caleb Herring stuck around? I have no idea. But that's another thing, man. We got to stop doing that. Don't just play players because they're older. Play the best players. Yeah, you would like to be able to play older guys, but that doesn't always mean that they are the best, So I think that's what that is. And I don't even think that William Satterwhite was that far behind Sam Pendleton either. And I'm just bringing him up because he went to LSU. I don't think that he was that far behind Sam Pendleton. Think that he was good. Think that he is good. He might be a starter at LSU. But that one, to me, while it does sting personally, I don't think that it stings that bad because I think that Nick Moore is also very good. He could end up being our starting center. Now, I know he barely played, and he played in mop-up duty stuff. But when he played, some of the issues that we saw with the other two centers, I wasn't really seeing that with Nick Moore. So it could be a situation where maybe Nick Moore could earn the starting spot at center, and then Sam Pendleton, he's like a swing center or guard. Maybe he could start a guard, whatever, because I think the Pendleton might be better playing a guard. But, yeah, I would just be trying to get all those things figured out. All right, so J-Pad is saying that y'all take a sec. Yeah, man, appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that so much. And let me actually bring this back. So Quez is saying just get a depth piece at quarterback, spend everything, spend the money on everything else. Right there with you. And then Drew Dockery is saying, what about Jaden Davis from Michigan? So I don't know what he plays either. You would have to fill me in. I'm not sure who Jaden Davis is. All right, what else do we got? So USC quarterback, the backup was a 5-star, and he's in GMAX class. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't do that personally. Like I wouldn't go out and add somebody that's gonna be like the same age as George that might push George out because now you're just starting over. Why? Like I wouldn't make what I would consider to be like a lateral move. I think that you want to at some point have a quarterback that you've had inside of your system that knows how things operate and all that type of stuff. And they're gonna have to see the field at some point. This might be earlier than what most people wanted, but I do think that Georgia is gonna end up being just fine. All right. So UT Punkin is saying 6 years in and the consistency is shit. Yep. So this one from Eric is saying also, we ain't done yet. There are still some good defensive players in the portal. As long as we get what we need when all is said and done, then we may be okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that we're done or nothing like that. So I hope that the vibe coming from me is not that the sky's falling, because that's definitely not how I feel. I think that we're doing a good job. I would say overall, but I am disappointed with some of the things. So like safety right now is my biggest disappointment, and it's not absolutely horrible, but I'm just hoping that that ends up working out, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just hoping that that ends up working out. So Jaden Davis is my bad. I was actually trying to get to this one. So who's my favorite? I'm gonna come right back to that, but let me get to this one from Drew Dockery saying that Jaden Davis is a quarterback for Michigan. I probably wouldn't want him if he's not starting. I don't know, unless he's coming in just to be a backup. Maybe you go and get him in. Is he going to come at a good discount? Then yeah, maybe. I just haven't seen him play personally, so I don't know. But that you could be on to something right there. So Quez is saying, he was asking who's my portal favorites as of right now. This is like as far as my favorite portal players overall. Let me see. So guys that are in the portal, I would say that Aaron Scott. All right, so look, I'm gonna say Damon Wilson and Aaron Scott are my overall favorite players right now. Those are my two overall favorites. Those are like can't miss. You know what I'm saying? Can't miss at all. All right, so let me see. What else do we have in here? I saw one. Let me see. If Hypo can coach up any quarterback, then why does it take GMAC 2+ years? GMAC will never be good if we keep hiring dudes over him. Yeah, I'm kind of there with you. You know, that's how I feel. Just give him the chance if that's where we're at. All right, so safety Coy Pierce from Minnesota. So this is a guy that I did take a look at him. I thought that somebody picked him up inside of the portal. I can tell y'all right now, as far as coverage goes, he's not very good. He's not very good at all. His coverage, he's like a guy, my bad. He's about like a guy that I would bring in and say, hey, can you gain some way to maybe play it like will linebacker? It's more of that. His coverage is not gonna, I don't think it's gonna hold up very well, you know, unless he's just like a strictly like a box safety. So I know that he's the #1 rated safety with 24/7 Sports or On3 or something, but I think that some of those ratings are definitely off because there was another guy from Florida State that's like a top 5 safety. I watched him; he's not very good either. So some of that stuff, in my opinion, it just those guys are not necessarily as good. So David Speaks saying, I wonder if Hypo has a starter from another team that has hit the portal. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of hoping that he's got something. Hopefully, he's got something brewing, man. I really do. So who else? Who else do we got in here? From Eric saying that we need Dalen Evans as well. Yeah, I think that he's good. I would love to add him. He's exactly what I think Tennessee needs. He's a bigger body, right? And with him being taller at 6'5", he can gain even more weight. And Tennessee's going to need more of that. But I also think that he shows enough twitch. I haven't seen any film where he's getting like pushed around. Like there was a defensive tackle that hit the portal from Oregon that is like 344 pounds. I mean, he's getting tossed, y'all. Like, there's no point to be that big if you're going to get moved. Like that kid from Oregon was getting moved a lot. So yeah, like it's not just about being big, but it's also about being strong at the point of contact. So I think that Dalen Evans, and I hope that I'm saying his first name right. I think that he's more of all those things. Yeah, so this one right here saying that Tyler's going to the NFL. Yeah, it sounds like he probably is going to the NFL. All right, and so Eric is saying that the transfer portal ratings are all name and yeah. I mean, that's mostly what that is. Just like most of it, you know what I'm saying? Just like most of the rankings, like we always talk about it, you can find some really good, like 5 stars are usually really good. It's hard to miss on the top players. But if it's how many, I don't know, whatever, hundreds of thousands of high school players, you're not going to look at all those guys. So I think that they miss on several players. This one from Yorkie Kane saying, I'm fine with Pribula if GMAC is the starter. Hopefully we just get some good news from the judge on Joey Aguilar today. I know the experts think that they have inside info, but it's court. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that anyone knows for sure. I do think that you could get an idea, though. I do. That's one thing that I'll say. And again, I'm not a lawyer. I haven't spent a whole lot of time. I don't know the court system as well. But one thing that I can tell you, because I know judges and things like that, I mean, they are human beings, right? Like they do have friends. They do, go out and all of that. Like they do talk to people, so things can leak out. Like that part of it is possible. But yeah, if we could get Pribula to come in, and even if it's to fight for the starting spot, I'm perfectly fine with that. I do view him as more of a backup, but it's just about the price tag. I'm not paying. If it's me, I don't think that he's worth that $2 million, and I think that it would be a huge mistake to spend that type of money on him because I don't think that he's going to earn the starting spot. And I think that could take away from anything else. If it takes away from anything else, don't do it. Just save the money and go get whatever that thing is that you would have been missing out on. Go and get that. But that's where I'm at, y'all. All right, so that's the update. Appreciate y'all for joining us. Let me make sure that we don't have any more from our members. All right, so looks like we're good here. Appreciate y'all so much. Y'all please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll have some more updates. I'm sure that there's going to be plenty of things going on. We are on a dead period, I think, until Monday. We'll see what happens with the Joey Aguilar situation. If something does pop, we'll come back and we'll talk about that as well. But until then, y'all, have a great rest of y'all's day, and we'll be talking to y'all soon. Thanks. Peace.